I would like to share with you the story of Gideon from the Bible in Judges chapter 6 to 8. The Israelites did evil things that made God sad and angry. They worshipped statues or idols that they themselves made. So God sent the Midianites to fight them and win over them. The Midianites were very cruel to the Israelites. Whenever they planted seeds to grow food, the Midianites, Amalekites, and other enemies would come and take away their crops. They took all their food and animals. Many enemies came to take away everything that the Israelites had. The Israelites became so poor that they cried out to the Lord for help. God told them to stop worshiping idols. God chose Gideon to be their leader. Gideon had so many questions and doubts. God even sent an angel to talk to Gideon to assure him that they will win the fight. Gideon brought with him many men who wanted to become soldiers and fight against their enemies. But God told Gideon that he had brought too many men. God did not want Israel to think that they won the fight because they were too strong. God told Gideon to tell the men that if they were afraid to go to war, they may go back to home. When they heard this, 22,000 men decided to return home. There were 10,000 men who remained. But again, God told Gideon that there were still too many men. He told Gideon to bring the men down to the water. God wanted to give them a test. Gideon did as God asked. Then God said, "Divide the men into two groups. In one group, put those men who stood and drank from their hands, and the other group, put those who kneeled down and drank directly from the stream." There were only 300 men who stood and drank from their hands. God told Gideon, "With these 300 men, I will rescue and give you victory over the Midianites." Could you imagine such a small army to fight their very strong enemies? That night, God commanded Gideon to go down to the tents of their enemies and spy on them. So Gideon and his servant Purah went down and went near the edge of the camp. They saw the huge Midianite army. But then they heard a soldier tell another man about a dream. He dreamed that God will give Gideon victory over the Midianites. When Gideon heard this, he thanked and worshipped God, returned to their tents, and divided the 300 men into 3 groups. He gave each man a trumpet and an empty pot. Inside the pot was a burning branch. He then instructed them that they will go near the enemy's tents and blow their trumpets, break their pots, and shout, "For the Lord and for Gideon." Would you go at war armed with only these things? When Gideon's men blew the 300 trumpets, it confused the Midianites, and the Lord made them turn and fight with each other. Other enemies attempted to run away, but the Israelite army caught up with them and conquered their enemy. The way God commanded Gideon to fight was not the usual way that we know. But Gideon, along with his 300 men, with their trumpets, pots, and burning branches, trusted God and his plan even when they did not understand. They trusted God's wisdom, and God gave them victory over their enemies. We sometimes doubt God's power and control over our lives, especially when we experience bad things. But the Bible tells us that God is right all the time. All His words are true, and all that He had promised, He fulfilled.